Well, look what we have here. Yes, we are back with another video about a young Cowboys wide receiver surprising people at training camp. I feel like we make these every year, because we do. But this one, I promise, this one is different. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about Traeshon Holden, do a little deep dive on how he got here, why he should make the Cowboys 53-man roster, and if he does, what we should expect from him this upcoming season. Let's get into it. So I want to give you guys a little bit of background on Holden, and I want you to really get the full picture of the player, and then we're going to talk about why it matters for him making this team. Holden transferred from Alabama to Oregon after the 2022 season, and that's where he got most of his college production. At Oregon from 2023 to 2024, he totaled 82 receptions for 1,170 yards and 11 touchdowns. His senior year, he had 45 catches for 718 yards and 5 touchdowns. While this doesn't matter right now, I want you guys to keep this in mind for later in the video. At Oregon, Junior Adams was his wide receiver coach, and then after Brian Schottenheimer got hired this offseason, Adams joined the Cowboys staff as the new wide receiver coach. Holden and Adams are pretty familiar with each other, obviously after Holden signed as an undrafted free agent. Not really important right now for the context of his college career. Remember that for later in the video. For now, though, let's look at Holden's measurables. Listed at 6'2", 205 pounds, he is right in that wheelhouse of what Dallas likes in their wide receivers. He ran a 4.57 second 40-yard dash, with his athletic score and college production ranking 36th out of wideouts in this draft. Not an overly athletic guy, and that does kind of explain his draft position. Just on the physical profile and college production alone, probably a 6th or 7th round pick makes sense. Ultimately, he did go undrafted, and I do want to mention, we're not going to get into it because it's not that important for the context of this video, but there were some on and off the field concerns that teams might have been a little wary of. So I went back and watched his film at Oregon, which was a lot harder to find than I originally anticipated when I said I was going to make this video. But what I saw as a player was a guy with a good physical profile, someone that can go up and get the ball, catch those back shoulder fades. He has good body control at his size. The spatial awareness is impressive in contested catch situations. I found out that he actually ranked 8th in this draft class in contested catch rate, literally tied with one of my favorite wideouts in this draft, Jaden Higgins, at 55.6%. But most importantly, what I saw on film is he's big and strong enough to be a really good run blocker. The 2 games I watched of his Oregon film, the dude wants to and will block. A run outside or a teammate catches a pass and he's got a block, he's going to do it. And if somebody's going to make this team as the 6th wide receiver, you're going to have to be willing to do the dirty work, block in the run game, help out other receivers when they catch the ball, and then obviously do stuff on special teams. What I saw indicates that he would do that. Now, is his blocking technique, is he always perfect when he's blocking? No. Sometimes that aggression and wanting to put somebody in the dirt can cause him to miss, or a guy to shake him off and make the tackle, but the overall mindset to be that type of player until you can start getting legitimate reps and targets is there. I also saw a pretty nuanced route runner when I was watching the film. He's not the fastest, most agile change of direction guy, but he can still create separation in those subtle ways that we see from good receivers. He had some reps at the East-West Shrine Bowl that showed that, little head nod at the top of the route or a subtle lean using his leverage against the DB. He was pretty good at getting open and creating separation. And he's an overall interesting prospect in terms of his draft profile because the production is average along with the athleticism. But when you watch him, he has these little pieces to his game that I think flash more than other guys that I watched that were drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. As we all know by this point, in the NFL draft, a lot of guys are based on projection, their traits. How fast are you? How big are you? How strong are you? And Holden is just average in a lot of those categories. But with Cowboys fans, there's always these undrafted guys or draft picks that us fans seem to gravitate towards for whatever reason. I think with Holden, before the Pickens trade, was more so hopium or a prayer that somehow an undrafted rookie wide receiver was going to save CD in this offense. After the Pickens trade, I thought that maybe people would kind of forget about that and he would be a camp body, or the hype just wasn't going to be there. But Holden has not let that happen. He has been a consistent standout in these practices, consistently making plays with the second team and the third team. Him and Joe Milton have connected on a number of touchdowns. He's caught touchdowns at the back pylon. He's caught passes over the middle on deep dig routes, slants, post routes, deep crossers, seam balls. The dude has been everywhere, running every route on the route tree. And I think, along with a lot of other people, he's easily been the best wide receiver of the bunch with Flournoy, Cropper, Brooks, Josh Kelly. He's been the most impressive, and it feels like every single day there's another wow play from him, a one-handed toe tap grab or a one-handed touchdown, a toe tap near the sideline. I mean, this guy just shows up every single day with these receivers. One guy will show up for a week, and then another guy will show up for another week, or a guy will start out camp really hot for 3 or 4 days and then just kind of fade as it goes on. Not Holden. He's been here every single day. If you guys remember last year with Tyron Billy Johnson, I think it was the first week of camp. I believe he was running with the ones or was doing really good against the twos, and people were like, whoa, where did this come from? This guy's been on 10 different teams. How is he out here dominating? And then he kind of faded. Or I'm going to give you an insane name pull right here. What about TJ Vasher? If you remember TJ Vasher, please head down to the comments. I remember this training camp hype with him from a couple of years ago, but it's just how the wide receiver position plays out. Except Holden, it hasn't been a 3 or 4 day thing. Like, we're going on, three weeks of camp now? I'm pretty confident in saying that this isn't a fluke. This is real. Now, the big question is, and what a lot of you are probably watching the video for, will he make the team? Really quick, guys, if you can, hit that subscribe button. Just 22% of you that watch the channel regularly are subscribed. So if you haven't already, head down there and hit that button. It helps the channel out a ton, and you won't miss a single piece of Cowboys content. Also, be sure to like this video. It tells YouTube that you enjoyed it, and we get more Cowboys fans in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, let's get back into it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want you guys to get ahead of yourselves, because at the end of the day, this guy is an undrafted free agent, right? The Cowboys' 6th wide receiver spot is competitive. Like, super competitive. Ryan Flournoy, a 6th round pick from last year. Somebody that I like. Big, strong, physical, can do some things after the catch. He made the team in 2024. He's trying to stick on the roster this year. Then you have Jalen Brooks, a 7th round pick from a couple of years ago. Has been around the team for a while now. Is a familiar face to Brian Schottenheimer and the front office. Jalen Cropper has hung on the practice squad for a couple of years now. He continues to compete every single training camp. There are guys in that room that deserve an opportunity. I think it's anything but guaranteed that Holden gets this job, even with how he's performed in camp so far. But listen, I have 3 reasons that he should and will make this team. I'm not 100% sold that he will, but if he's going to, these are the 3 reasons why. Number 1, he fits the physical profile that Dallas likes to keep around at wide receiver and develop. Don't get me wrong, I love Jalen Cropper. I think he's a phenomenal player. If he got the chance to go out there and play, I think he would do good. But the problem is he's smaller. He kind of fits in that Turpin role with limited special teams ability outside of returning. So there's just not really a way to keep 2 Turpins around, essentially. Holden is different. He's big. He's physical. Dallas will keep 6 of those wide receivers if they can. If they didn't have Turpin, all 6 wide receivers would probably look the exact same. But Holden is big, physical. He likes to block. He can block. something that this offensive coaching staff wants. They need their wide receivers to be able to block on an outside toss, or you need your wide receivers to block if you're going to throw a screen to CD. Those things are going to be part of this offense, and you got to have the guys to be able to execute that. Even if he's not out there more than 4, 5, 6 snaps as a rookie, which he probably wouldn't be if he was even active. But if you do put Holden out there, or if somebody goes down and he has to play more than that, you just know that you're getting a guy that is going to bring the tenacity that you need, whether that be on the ground or through the air. No offense to Jalen Tolbert. I'm not going to say I'm not a Jalen Tolbert fan, but I'm not going to say I love Jalen Tolbert either. But that is not a guy that brings the tenacity, if you know what I'm saying. I think Mingo is a better blocker. I think Holden is a more willing and better blocker than Tolbert. So in terms of that, in terms of needing that guy on your team, Holden does fit that mold. And then number 2, he has a sponsor in the room. I mentioned it earlier, Junior Adams. The Oregon wide receiver coach gets hired in Dallas. He's been around Holden for a couple of years now. He knows him. He knows the person, the player, the teammate. Maybe that's not as good of a thing as it could be. I don't know. It probably is, because I have a feeling that Holden came to Dallas because Junior Adams was here. And also, he saw that 6th wide receiver spot is potentially up for grabs. It's anything but confirmed for Brooks or Flournoy or Holden. Is having a sponsor enough to get him on the roster? I don't really know. I don't know their relationship. I don't know how much say a wideout coach has in filling out the roster, even in the wide receiver room. But it's got to help something when you have a guy that is there when they're starting to fill out the 53 that can say, oh man, he's only going to get better with time. I know him. I know how hard he works. He can do this and this and this. This is how I'm going to use him and how he's going to continue to get better and better. I have to imagine that helps at least a little bit. And then finally, number 3. He's been the best wide receiver in camp outside of Lamb, Pickens, and Turpin. In my opinion, out of Tolbert, Mingo, Brooks, Flournoy, he's been the one that makes splash plays the most consistently. He's done everything that you can really ask of a undrafted free agent trying to make a team. He's shown up day over day. He's built a rapport with the quarterback too, because that's who he's playing with. He's making contested catches. He's winning in one-on-one situations, all of it. He's been balling out. So I don't really know what else to say. And unfortunately, sometimes doing all of those things is just not enough. Us fans might see one thing, the coaching staff and what they want the team to look like in 2025 could be a completely different thing. Because during the joint practice with the Rams, Holden wasn't out there, at least based on stuff that I've heard. I didn't see any clips of him either. Wasn't out there with the special teams unit. Brooks was, Jalen Brooks. And that's not good for a guy that needs to be on special teams and prove his worth there, not getting on the field with special teams. I think he could contribute with special teams. I think it's possible, and maybe make a few plays in the preseason if he gets the opportunity. But for the Rams practice, he just wasn't out there. And people are probably watching this video panicking right now about, well, what happens if somebody claims him, if they cut him and he goes on the waiver wire and another team picks him up? What's going to happen? I'm not worried about that at all. I don't think anyone's picking him up on the waiver wire. It would take a ridiculously good preseason from him, an exceptional preseason, and then Dallas to cut him, which I don't think would happen if he was balling out that much, and then another team would have to claim him off waivers, but not just claim him off waivers, probably cut one of their wide receivers that they kept to put Holden on the 53, and I just don't see a world where that happens. If he plays good enough for someone else to claim him on waivers, I don't think Dallas cuts him. It's just so rare for waiver wire pickups for teams to claim someone and then cut somebody that they kept on their roster, and especially rare for an undrafted free agent wide receiver that most people probably haven't seen a ton of. I don't think the Cowboys would have a single problem getting him through waivers and getting him back on the practice squad. I really don't think they'd have a problem with any of these guys. I think they would all clear waivers and come right back. My thing is, though, I don't want him to be on the practice squad. I think he's earned a shot at the 53, at least up to this point. Now, I want to hear what you guys think down below. I did a deep dive on Traeshon Holden, college career, the measurables, his camp so far, why he can make the roster, how he can make the roster. I think we hit all of the points, so I want you guys to let me know, does he make the team? Comment yes or no down below. I want to see what you guys think. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to hit the like button. It tells everybody here on YouTube that you enjoyed. Also, subscribe to the channel for more Cowboys content just like this. I love you all, and I'm praying that Holden can hold on. Okay, that was terrible. All right, I love you all.